Hey everyone, Alex Telander here, and welcome to the Ostium Sagas. Now, if you're enjoying this series and want more right away, I just wanted to mention that you can get them on our Ostium Network Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. By becoming a supporter at any level, you'll instantly get access to the next 15 episodes in the series. So that's on our Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. Now, I'd just like to thank our 5 most recent patrons for supporting the Ostium Network. Thank you to Death to Komatsu, Daryl Williamson, Descripticon, Virginia Green, and Talon for all your support. We really appreciate it. And now let's get started with the next chapter of the Ostium Sagas. The Ostium Sagas. Saga 2, 1666, Part 4. It was gorgeous. Think The Hunt for Red October, with the cramped spaces and everyone yelling, and just throw that away. Excise it from your mind. Then think Captain Nemo and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, especially the movie version with handsome Kirk Douglas. And think of the awesome submarine that was just a marvel to behold. Think of the spacious beauty and practicality of the Nautilus, and then add a bunch of cool and useful futuristic gadgetry, and we'll get pretty close to the unbelievable vessel I was traveling in. I was introduced to the captain and a small crew, and then told to sit where I liked. Once seated and belted in, the hatch was closed and secured, and then I heard the whirring of the gangway retracting. Shortly after we began descending, and it was just as awesome as I had imagined. Passing into this underwater world, I was suddenly surrounded by colourful, lively ocean life, and my mouth dropped open, my eyes glued to the porthole. 10 minutes later, I was served a deliciously fancy meal and the best glass of wine I've ever tasted. In fact, it was so good I had a second glass, though not as big. We travelled through the underwater swells for an hour or so, and then a warning came on the overhead speakers that we were about to pass into the Ostium Network boundaries, and there would be a big flash and loud thump, which were all perfectly normal. I'm glad they warned me, otherwise it would have scared the crap out of me. As the light cleared, the water looked the same, but there was no longer any sign of marine life. It was like a water desert. The sub started descending, and as we broke the surface, I saw the Rock of Gibraltar, and was rendered speechless as I now knew what had happened to the mysterious disappearance of the renowned landmark. It also told me if the Ostium Network could make a mountain disappear and reappear somewhere else, was there anything they couldn't do? As soon as I set foot on dry land, on the island of Gibraltar, as I would soon learn, I had about 1 billion questions to ask, but I could tell by the number of people I could see walking around that I was just one of many here, a single member of a large community. I'm sure anything I was about to ask whoever was in charge of orienting me had already been asked 1,000 times. My wildest imaginings and expectations had already been completely smashed. So, for the time being, I was going to go with the flow. I answered yes to every question unless it warranted a no answer, and got signed in and welcomed to the Ostium Network. I got my own place with my own new things and a fresh wardrobe and focused on just fitting in right away, which wasn't too hard because everyone was in the same boat, or was that submarine, and seemed just as excited as I was to be here. And then began the weeks and months of training, and while some grew bored with the repetition and redundancy in endless classrooms, I couldn't get enough of it, because I still wasn't completely sure what the end goal was, other than the hints and clues Zhang had given me. But whatever it was going to be amazingly awesome, and I was totally there for it. After the introductory training, we finally got told what the job would entail. Nothing special, just traveling to a secret town with no people and lots of doors, which happened to be able to take you to any point in time. The Ostium Network had apparently invented time travel, and they weren't telling anyone about it, except for the people at the network. You know, that feeling you get when you just manage to avoid something dangerous and scary and your heart's racing, and you say the expression, "Whoa, I just dodged a bullet." Well, this was the complete opposite of that. I'd accepted a job and agreed to work for the Ostium Network, as had a number of other people, and now we were getting the chance to do something most people on the planet had only ever heard about through sci-fi movies and books. They even took us on a quick tour of Ostium, which was just amazing. We started more training, going over the time travel literature and scenarios so we'd have a better grasp of what time travel was possibly like. No one knew for certain what it would exactly be like until people started coming back from missions and sharing their stories. So in the meantime, we were learning everything that could be learned about the two words time and travel. And then as things moved closer to the first people being approved to do the first missions, we had to decide when we wanted to travel. It wasn't just a case of picking some random time and event and then just being okay with it. You had to submit this big full report about when and where exactly, how long you wanted to be there, and for what purpose. You had to outline your goals and what you hoped to achieve for yourself and the Ostium Network by traveling back to this particular place and time. This was obviously a tough decision for me, given my love of all history, so I had to think and hum and haw for a full 3 days until I settled on a specific time and place.